proceed.
Recording in progress.
All right, thank you so much for being with us this evening. Great to have so many of you here. We start every meeting with an invocation. I'd like to call on Councilor Chris Harrison this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for this time together. We thank you for please give us wisdom and guidance through the county's business. We thank you for everyone in attendance tonight to show their support and interest in the county, and also appreciate everyone's willingness to serve. We thank you for all that you do for us, and we also pray that you please keep everyone safe on the way home this evening. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I think we'll have Chairman Tripp online here and see Councilor Blunt online as well, so thanks for joining us. The first item of business this evening is the approval of the minutes from our May 7th meeting. Happy to entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the ayes have it, and the minutes will be approved. The next item on our agenda are proclamations and special recognitions, and we have several. And I'd like to start, I have the honor this evening of recognizing the Cancer Survivors Park Alliance. In 2018, the Cancer Survivors Park was introduced to the public. This was the result of 20 years of design and planning by a nonprofit board. Both public and private funds were raised, totaling over $11 million, including in 2016, $500,000 from Greenville County. Natureland Trust and Renewable Water Resources donated the land, and a conservation easement was created by Upstate Forever. This is an example of collaboration and greater good Greenville at its finest. Since 2018, the nonprofit Cancer Survivors Park Alliance has worked in partnership with the City of Greenville to maintain the park and to add elements of interest and education. County Council has also worked with CSPA on trail programs and offering advice. The Cancer Survivors Park is unique as it highlights nature as healing with beautiful green space and gardens. But it is also a public park of engagement with sculptures and interactive exhibits focused on the survivors, their loved ones, and the cancer journey, and is already a source of pride and a catalyst for further economic development. In addition to hope and healing, this park symbolizes attributes that make us unique: strong philanthropy, compassion, courage to tackle visionary projects, public-private partnerships, true collaboration, and a commitment to advancing our quality of life. The mission of the Cancer Survivors Park Alliance is to cultivate an environment which engages, educates, empowers, and enhances the lives of all of those touched by cancer. Going forward, they will be adding programming centered on lifestyle medicine and anti-cancer living. They aspire to hire a new program coordinator to assist our patients in holistic healing as a complement to their clinical plan. You can visit their website at cancersurvivorspark.org and their local social media channels for ways to stay updated, to donate, and to volunteer. And there are members of their board and staff with us this evening, so please stand to be recognized. Cancer Survivors Park Alliance. With us this evening. Next, I would like to recognize litter volunteers and would ask Gail and David Haggerty and Betty and Andrew Zykowski to join me at the podium down front, please. So much. I'm going to actually speak that way, so if you would love to join me up front. And so both of you all, thank you so much for your work in Greenville County, and it's my privilege this evening to present these proclamations to you. Whereas Betty and Andrew and Gail and David have consistently exemplified the power of teamwork through their dedicated participation in litter cleanups. Whereas their collaborative spirit has demonstrably enhanced the impact of these cleanups, removing significant amount of litter from various roads within Greenville County, including Standing Springs Road, Holcomb Road, West Georgia Road, Ranch Road, and Log Shoals Road. And whereas by joining forces, they have not only beautified our county, but also inspired a sense of community responsibility and environmental stewardship. And whereas their commitment extends beyond the immediate act of cleaning by preventing trash from entering our waterways, they have actively safeguarded the health of our aquatic ecosystems and wildlife. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Greenville County Council does hereby honor Betty and Andrew and Gail and Dave for their unwavering dedication to environmental sustainability and their outstanding volunteer service to our community. Their collaborative spirit serves as a powerful testament to the impact achievable when we work together for a cleaner, healthier Greenville County. Signed the 7th day of May, 2024, Dan Tripp, Chairman. Congratulations to you both, and thank you very, very much for your service. It is also my pleasure this evening to recognize Emergency Medical Services Week. And Tom and team, please stand. And Tom, maybe I'll have you come forward and then we can ask other folks, but please stand. Greenville County EMS provides a vital public service, delivering emergency care 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and is the sole provider for medical 911 calls, responding to more than 92,000 calls per year. And whereas Greenville County EMS employs more than 300 talented and dedicated staff members, paramedics, EMTs, telecommunicators, support service technicians, and administrators who execute a high-performance tiered system that provides exceptional care. And whereas members of the emergency medical services team engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, Greenville County's EMT Academy is an exciting work-ready program that prepares students to provide excellent pre-hospital care through innovation and leadership. And whereas Greenville County EMS has earned Mission Lifeline EMS Gold Plus status, operates an internationally honored call center, and whereas county residents and visitors benefit greatly from the knowledge, education, and skill of the highly trained men and women of Greenville County EMS, and their presence enhances our quality of life. Now, therefore, Greenville County Council honors the incredible talent, purpose, and passion of all Greenville County EMS staff, acknowledges their essential role in public health, and proclaims May 19th through 25th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week in Greenville County. Congratulations, Dr. Blackwell. Thank you so much. And thank you all very much.
Chair, members of County Council, Mr. Cannell, Mr. Tolleson, Greenville County Administration over there in the corner, and all the great citizens here today. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. And as many of you know, I always like one of our team members to come forward and accept this EMS Week proclamation on behalf of our department. We traditionally have EMTs, paramedics, or 911 dispatchers to accept the award, but this year I'm asking our unsung heroes who actually work behind the scenes to ensure all of our equipment and supplies are stocked, our ambulances are clean and ready for deployment, and they ensure that all of our materials management and warehouse operations are operating not just efficiently, but economically. These folks are never in the limelight, they're never on the news, they never get to see the exciting things that happen with EMS calls, but without them, we would clearly be in the tall weeds. So with your permission, ma'am, I would like to ask that Mike Summerson, one of our sports services supervisors, come forward with his team to accept this proclamation.
I just want to say a few things. I want to thank Councilwoman Seaman for this opportunity, all the county council members, Mr. Cornell, Dr. Blackwell, for continued support of EMS. We kicked off the 50th anniversary of National EMS Week this past Sunday. This proclamation reminds us of the value of teamwork that allows Greenville County EMS the ability to care for our patients and to serve our community. Starting with our support service techs, which have a few right here with me. And that includes 2 graduates of Project Surge, Jean Knight and Quan Down, who's very shy. And I would like to thank them, our EMTs, our paramedics, telecommunicators, and clinical services. I admire each of them for their dedication and compassion, and I am fortunate enough to see them do this every single day. I'm honored and proud to be part of this team. Thank you all again for this meaningful gesture of appreciation.
Madam Chairwoman, I would also just take a second to thank County Council and to thank especially Mr. Cornell. I know he stepped away for a second, but please extend my thanks to him. We did an extensive 4-day military training, EMS, with a medical detachment out of Fort Jackson these last 4 days. This was unprecedented. Mr. Kervin actually visited us and got to see what we did. I got nothing but compliments from corporals all the way to full bird colonels on what this team did, and very proud of that. But I want to thank Greenville County for the support of that operation.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks again. All right, the next item on our agenda is appearances on current agenda items, and just a reminder that we can only ask, people may only speak on items that are up for a public hearing or that have already been to a committee. So Ms. Heffron, thank you so much for being with us this evening, but item 15B has not yet been to committee, but as soon as it does, you will have an opportunity to speak on that particular item. So our next speaker this evening is Jack Logan, speaking on item 8A, the renaming of Mount Pleasant Community Center Gym after the Reverend Furman P. Gatewood Sr. Good evening, Mr. Logan.
Good evening. My name is Jack Logan. I live at 5051 Old Augusta Road, Greenville, South Carolina. Tonight is a very happy night when I read the agenda and I saw Furman Gatewood name on the agenda. I want to thank this body of government for honoring a man with good integrity, a pastor, a humble man. I met him back in 2010 when our nonprofit began, and many times we wanted to have events, and we did not have the money to rent the center. But Mr. Gatewood always took care of that. And then I had the honor of meeting his great wife, a very nice woman. And I want to thank Mr. Cornell, Mr. Tollison, and each one of these members for coming together to rename that gymnasium after Furman Gatewood. He deserves it, and he's helped so many people in that district. There was no mistake made in this. A man of God and a man who loved God, and I'm sure he's with God in heaven. Again, I want to thank you all for honoring Mr. Gatewood. And also I had the privilege of looking further down this agenda, and I see coming down the road, you're going to be, I hope you honor your former icon, Lottie Gibson, and I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Logan. And my apologies, Senator Allen, I failed to introduce you at the top of our meeting, so thank you so much for being with us this evening. All right, our next item for business is public hearings, and I'll turn things over to Councilor Butch Kervin. Mr. Kervin, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First public hearing tonight is Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement 2010 Park, East Group Properties LP, formerly known as Project Turkey. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park 2010 Park of Anderson and Greenville. Thank you very much. Greenville County so as to enlarge the park. Has anyone signed up to speak? Ms. McCaskill.
Mr. Kervin, no one has signed up for this public hearing.
I declare this public hearing closed. Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. The next item is the Clear Spring Fire and Rescue District General Obligation Bond. Mr. Kervin.
Thank you, ma'am. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance to provide for the issuance and sale not exceeding $2.3 million Greenville County, South Carolina general obligation bonds for Clear Spring Fire and Rescue District Project Series 2024B, to prescribe the purposes for which the proceeds shall be expended, to provide for the payment thereof, and other matters relating thereto. Ms. McCaskill, has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Ms. Seaman, Mr. Kervin, no one has signed up for this public hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. I declare this public hearing closed.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda this evening is the consent agenda. Would any member like to remove any of the items on the consent agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to request removal of item 8A from the consent agenda, and we take it up during the committee reports so that Mrs. Gatewood and the family can be properly recognized. And by removing that, then I would now move adoption for the consent agenda minus item 8A.
Great. You hear the motion on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it, and the consent agenda stands approved minus item A, which we will take up later this evening. The next item on our agenda is resolutions, and the first item comes from the Public Works Committee, and I'm going to ask Vice Chairman Alan Mitchell to present that item for us. Mr. Mitchell, please.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I'd like to move for adoption a resolution to hold a public hearing to consider enlarging the Greater Greenville Sanitation District to include 618 South Parker Road.
All right, you've heard the motion. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Those opposed? And the ayes have it, and that item stands approved. The next item is a resolution, Project Anchorage. I'm actually going to turn the microphone over to Councilor Kervin. I need to recuse myself on this item, so Mr. Kervin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair Seaman, as she said, has recused herself from this item, so she will not be present, participating, or voting on it, temporarily presiding at the meeting. And I would like to call on the ranking member of the Finance Committee, Mr. Fayette, to make a motion on Project Anchorage.
I just got to say this. This is too funny. When I get here, they're like, you got to do the motion on Project Anchorage. I'm like, why? They're like, well, Dan's not here. He's on Zoom. Liz is vice chair. She's presiding. She has to recuse herself. She's going to pass the gavel to Butch because he's chairman pro tem. But he's also chairman of finance. But he has the gavel, so he can't make a motion. So you're the next senior member of finance, so you have to make the motion. So I've gotten on Tollison and Regina, do not call me next senior member of finance. Use ranking or something else. Don't call me senior member of finance. Seems like I've been here a minute or something. Anyway, that's kind of how all that worked. That has been kind of funny how this got passed from 4 different people down to me. But anyway, here's the motion in this big red ink.
Wait a second. In middle school, ranking was a bad thing, though. So if you're saying a ranking, we don't want to use that one either.
No. In Congress now, when the minority party, the senior member, is the ranking member. So, all right, let's do this motion.
Not in Congress.
Project Anchor Inducement Resolution. Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of an inducement agreement by and between Greenville County, South Carolina, and Project Anchorage, whereby under certain conditions, Greenville County will execute a fee in lieu of tax and special source credit agreement with respect to a project in the county whereby the project would be subject to payment of certain fees in lieu of taxes, and whereby project company will be provided certain credits against fee payments in reimbursement of investment-related qualified infrastructure and providing for related matters.
Thank you, Mr. Fayette, for putting this motion on the floor. Do we have any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please
Roll
say
call,
aye.
please.
All right, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is the roll call on item 9B, Project Anchorage Inducement Resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Tripp.
I'd like to be
Mr. Tripp, I'm
recognized as
sorry.
voting yes.
I'm
I'd
sorry.
like to be recognized so I could vote yes on the motion.
Yes, sir. You're part of the meeting, and your vote, you can indicate that your vote to the clerk. She's tabulating the votes, and I heard you say yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
we have 8 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 abstaining.
Okay.
Two are absent and not voting.
The motion carries, it's approved, and now we'll move forward to our next item as soon as our chairperson returns to her seat.
First thing they let me do.
I was getting worried. I let you alone for one item, and it seemed to take forever. All right. Our next item of business is item 11, ordinances at, no, I'm sorry, we still have to do number 10. Is that correct? Yes, thank you. Ordinances at third reading. Mr. Kervin, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 10A, Anderson Greenville Multi-County Industrial Business Park, Amendment 2010 Park, East Group Project LP from formerly Project Turkey. I move for adoption of an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 Park of Anderson and Greenville County, so as to enlarge the park, East Group Properties LP, formerly Project Turkey, Anderson County parcel.
Thank you, Mr. Kervin. You've heard the motion. All those in please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it, and the motion passes at third reading. We now come to ordinances at second reading. Dr. Fant, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Item CZ 2024-021, property located at 2022 and 2024 East Lee Road, Taylors, requesting rezoning from R20 to R10. The Planning Commission recommended approval, and the committee recommended denial. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny the ordinance at second reading.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make a motion. There's been some more.
Was it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Shaw.
Thank you. There's been some additional information, and I would make a motion to hold this one.
All right.
Madam Chair, if I could.
Sure, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you. I just want to echo Mr. Shaw's motion in support of that motion. The applicant reached out asking to hold. There's been some additional conversations with community members, and wanted to support the opportunity to let them try to work this situation out. So I support the motion.
Great, thank you. All right, the motion on the floor is to hold. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, and we'll hold that on the floor for 2 weeks will be sufficient, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, the next item, CZ 2024-22. Dr. Fant.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Property located at 107 Page Drive and Whitehorse Road, Greenville, requesting rezoning from S1 to FRD. The Planning Commission and the committee recommend approval with a condition. And I do have an amendment.
Thank you, Dr. Fant. Go ahead with your amendment, please.
I move to amend the request to require the developer to submit a final development plan for review and approval prior to the issuance of any land development or building permits.
All right, you've heard the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Now, Madam Chairman, I move to approval of the ordinance as amended.
All right. You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it, and it'll stand approved as amended. The next item, please.
CZ 2024-023, property located at 1203, 1207, and 1209 Grove Road, Greenville, requesting rezoning from OD to C2. The Planning Commission and the committee both recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move to approve the ordinance at second reading.
All right, thank you. Motion on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the ayes have it. 2024-24, please.
Property located at 1420 Hampton Avenue Extension, Greenville, requesting rezoning from RM20 to S1. The Planning Commission and committee both recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move to approve the ordinance at second reading.
All right, motion to approve is on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the ayes have it, and it will stand approved. 2024-26.
2026 has been withdrawn, Madam Chairman.
All right, thank you. Then we'll move on to 27, please.
Property located on Old Easley Highway, Gethsemane Drive, and Old Bramlett Road, Greenville, requesting rezoning from R15 to C3. The Planning Commission and committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move to approve the ordinance at second reading.
All right, motion to approve is on the floor. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, and it'll stand approved. The next item is the Greenville County Library System 2025 budget. Finance Chair, Mr. Kervin, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of the Finance Committee, I move for approval at second reading an ordinance to approve the appropriation of funds for the Greenville County Library System for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025, and to authorize the annual ad valorem property tax millage levy for library purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Kervin. The motion is on the floor. Any questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it. Clear Springs Fire and Rescue District, please. Mr. Kervin.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I move for approval at second reading an ordinance to provide for the issuance and sale of not exceeding $2.3 million Greenville County, South Carolina general obligation bonds, Clear Spring Fire and Rescue District Project Series 2024B, to prescribe the purposes for which the proceeds shall be expended, to provide for the payment thereof, and other matters related thereto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The motion is on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it, and the motion is approved. The next item, please. Mr. Kervin.
11D, Greenville Anderson Multi-County Industrial Business Park Amendment Project Catapult 2010 Park. I move for approval at second reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park 2010 park of Anderson and Greenville counties so as to enlarge the park for Project Catapult.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The motion is on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it. Item E, please. Project Pegasus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll move for approval at second reading an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Greenville County, South Carolina, and a company known to the county at this time as Project Pegasus with respect to certain economic development property in the county whereby such property will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision of certain special source credits and other matters related thereto.
Thank you, Mr. Kervin. The motion is on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and that item will stand approved. And finally, F, the Greenville Anderson Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement Amendment 2010 Park Project Pegasus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll move for approval at second reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park 2010 Park of Anderson and Greenville counties so as to enlarge the park for Project Pegasus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That item is on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it, and that item stands approved. Item 12 is ordinances at first reading. Dr. Fant, please.
Thank you again, Madam Chairman. I present for first reading zoning docket CZ 2024-029, CZ 2024-030, CZ 2024-032, and CZ-2024-033.
Thank you. Those will go to the Planning and Development Committee. Item B is the Malden Fire District Millage. Chairman Kervin, please.
Thank you, ma'am. I present for first reading an ordinance to provide for the millage rate to be levied by the Malden Fire Service area consistent with state law limits for operations and maintenance as well as for the maintenance of a capital improvement plan.
Thank you, Chairman Kerwin. That item has been to finance, so it'll stay on the floor. The next item is the Tigerville Fire Service Area Millage. Chairman Kerwin, please.
Ma'am, I present for first reading an ordinance to provide for the millage rate to be levied by the Tigerville Fire District.
That item has also been to finance, so it'll stay on the floor. And finally, item D, Greenville Pickens Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement, Commerce Park. Chairman Kerwin, please.
Thank you, ma'am. I present for first reading an ordinance to develop a jointly owned and operated industrial business park in conjunction with Pickens County pursuant to South Carolina Code of Laws 1976, Section 4-1-170, as amended, such industrial business park to be, at the time of its initial development, geographically located in Pickens County, and to include certain property comprising the Pickens County Commerce Park and additional property within Pickens County located on Cartee Road, to provide for the written agreement with Greenville County providing for the expenses of the park, the percentage of revenue application, and the distribution of fees in lieu of ad valorem tax and matters related thereto.
Thank you, Chairman Kerwin. That item has also been to finance, so it'll stay on the council floor. We now come to committee reports, and before we get to the committee of the whole, we will consider item 8A from the consent agenda, the renaming of the Mount Pleasant Community Center Gymnasium after the late Reverend Furman P. Gatewood Sr. Dr. Fant.
Thank you again, Madam Chairman. As noticed in your packet and the consent agenda that we removed, I want to recognize tonight Ms. Earlene Gatewood, which is the widow of Reverend Furman Gatewood. He was the director at the Mount Pleasant Community Center for 31 years, integral part of District 25, particularly the Kennedy Park area. Everybody knew Reverend Gatewood, admired him, and did him. She has worked tirelessly. I mean, she worked tirelessly with Parks, Recreation, Tourism, with Ted, the board approval. Then it went to Mr. Cornell. Then it had to go to Roads, Infrastructure, and Public Works, and finally got here. So I'm just honored and delighted. Thank you for your persistence. And what I'd like to do, and I want to remove it, so I want the family to stand, including Ms. Gatewood, and just recognize them as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us and for the service of your family.
So now we move for approval.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fant. So you've heard the motion. All of those in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, and the ayes have it.
Congratulations again.
All right, now we'll hear the report from the Committee of the Whole. Chairman Kerwin, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of the, this is board and commission appointments. On behalf of the committee, I move to appoint the following Tax Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee, Danielle Nance and Jake O'Dare, to fill 2 vacancies on the Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee. Shall I proceed with the other?
Go ahead. Yes,
sir. Patrick Epps, Michael Johnson, Amanda O'Brien, to fill 3 vacancies on the Greenville Area Development Corporation. John Boyanowski, Yolanda Brockman, Josh Hackala, Angela Hall, Brennan Stonerock, and Christopher Winters to fill 6 vacancies on the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've heard the report from the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor of approving those names as read, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it, and those folks will stand approved. Thank you. Next item, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Item 5, Greenville County Historic and Natural Resources Trust, Oakland Plantation. On behalf of the committee, I move to approve the Greenville County Historic and Natural Resources Trust recommendation on acquisition of the Oakland Plantation property and to authorize the county administrator with the advice and consent of the county attorney to negotiate and execute agreement with the Upstate Preservation Trust for the transfer of the property to the county.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And that item stands approved. Next item is the administrator's report. Mr. Cornell.
Members of council, I just wanted to point out that the old building is gone. If you hadn't noticed, the construction is moving along just as planned. They've really started the storm sewer installation and some of the other underground type installations now, so that the pads will start taking shape, and then some of the roadways will start being put in very quickly. Figured the handicap parking, what was originally planned was to have it along a new road that's coming in, have it on the sides of the roads, but after watching the use, we're going to add some pull-in handicap parking spaces right outside the building here, and that should be very accessible. There'll be about 6 or 7. We're still working on that configuration, along with a drop-off spot for a paying your tax bill in a drop box. So hopefully that will all move traffic much better and much more efficient. But we are going to push to have that done quickly and not wait on other buildings to start popping up out of the ground, because this is very important to us to get our infrastructure in place. And so you'll probably start seeing some of that change occurring here shortly. But we were very happy that we're able to reconfigure before some of these other buildings start coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the administrator this evening? All right. The next item, 15 requested motions by council members. We have 2 this evening. And Dr. Fant, I'll start with you, please.
Thank you again, Madam Chairman. As noticed on the council agenda, I would like to introduce a resolution requesting the South Carolina Department of Transportation honor former Councilwoman Lottie Bill Gibson by designating a portion of U.S. Highway 25 in Greenville County in her memory, and I request this resolution be referred to the appropriate committee.
Thank you, Dr. Fant. We will send that to the Roads, Infrastructure, and Public Works Committee for consideration. And then item B, Councilor Shaw, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As noticed on the council agenda, I would like to introduce an ordinance to amend the 2024-25 Greenville County budget to establish spending requirements, priorities, and parameters for the Second Chance Fund, which is ancillary to the Greenville County Animal Care. I request that this ordinance be referred to the appropriate committee.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw, and we will send that item to the Finance Committee for consideration.
A point of information?
Sure, go ahead.
I was curious, was this one of the items nobody could speak on tonight?
Yes, sir, because it hasn't been to a committee yet.
Okay, so it has to go to committee for, it wasn't marked with that asterisk on here, but that might just be an oversight, but anyway.
Yes, thank you, but when it comes back through after it's been to Finance, then it'll be open for public comment, so thank you. But of course, I encourage folks, if you have, as always, thoughts on any of the items on our agenda, please don't hesitate to call or email us your thoughts on those as well.